Hi, I'm Nigel Danson and I'm here for DPReview to talk a little bit about drone photography. So I use my drone to do a lot of landscape photography as well as my Z7 and X-T3, and the new DJI Mavic 2 Pro has got an exceptional sensor and lens on it, and you really can take some great shots, but there's certain things you've got to think about when you do that. So I thought I'd do a video for DPReview and tell you a little bit more about my sort of technique of taking landscape shots. And I tend to take more traditional ones where I'm looking, straight in front of me with the drone rather than down. So I'm going to the Faroe Islands, so I thought it'd be a good idea to come with me to the Faroe Islands. I can show you how to take some shots. What is a pretty epic place, and then we can come back and have a look at them on the computer. So let's go. So I'm here in the amazing Faroe Islands, and what a spectacular view it is. Look at the sea cliffs, are just unbelievable, and it's a perfect day for flying my drone. Now, before I take off and tell you a little bit about drone photography, I just want to touch on safety, because that's really important, and not just safety but consideration when you're flying a drone. So first of all, you need to check the local laws. You need to make sure that you're allowed to fly there. You also need to make sure that you're not within the designated distance of an airfield, because that's just really stupid. So make sure that you're careful with the laws of wherever you're flying. But once you've got that right and you know it's okay to fly, then the next thing is just to be considerate, because there's nothing worse than when you get into a beautiful location and you start flying your drone and you just annoy everybody. So I hate that so much. So either take off a long way away and don't fly near those people, or just ask them, if there's somebody around, just ask them. Maybe, you can say, is it okay if I fly my drone? But I think it's really important. I don't like if someone just flies over the head of me, and I want to respect the space above them as well, and just try and keep it, as nice an experience for everybody. So I've got my drone now. I'm going to take off, and then I'm recording my screen. So I'm going to show you some of the things you might want to look for and some of the settings for taking photos with your drone. Now, I'm using a DJI Mavic 2, which is an amazing drone. It's fantastic video. It's good in low light as well, because it's got this Hasselblad sensor. It's a micro four thirds sensor, so it's really good, and it's fantastic for taking still images with its camera. Okay, so I'm going to take off. And then the first thing I like to do is just go up a little bit, and then just fly out and have a look around now, and just fly to an area that I think is going to look quite good. So I'm going to go around here, and I'm going to just go out a little bit. Now the thing is with a drone is it's quite a wide angle lens, but you probably want to go a little bit further away than you think to get a really good shot. So now I can see, as I'm moving away. Okay, so now I'm here. I can see straight away that I want to go a little bit further this way to give some separation between the three islands. So I'm going to go around here. Now, that's going to work okay, but not brilliantly. So I'm going to try some different angles. And what I want to do is try and get something and try and use the 3D space as a compositional type of tool. So I'm going to move probably back there. I don't want to just cut off that rock there, and I'm going to shoot about there. So now we've got a good composition, and we're going to look at some different compositions, but the first thing you want to do is switch the histogram on. So you go into the settings and switch histogram on, and then I'm going to show you the photo settings you should have. So I'm going to go into photo. I'm going to start with single shot, but I'm going to go to this again in a minute. I want image size 4.3. You don't want to crop it, because you can crop it later. You want image format RAW. Now sometimes I shoot JPEG plus RAW, just in case you want to do something quick with the JPEG. I always set the white balance to cloudy. Then I've just got all the same white balance. I can change that afterwards in camera. And I always leave the style as none, because I'm taking a RAW image, and color as normal. So the next thing is just make sure your ISO is as low as possible. It's really important with the drone. And then also making sure your aperture is around about between 3 and 4. it really doesn't matter because you've nothing in the foreground, so you don't need to worry about depth of field too much. And then it's just a question of making sure that your shutter speed is the right shutter speed for, and checking the histogram and making sure you're pushing the exposure to the right as much as you can. So I've got a 200th of a second here. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go back into photo, and I'm just going to show you can also click on this and click on auto exposure, and I'm going to click 3. So every time I take a shot now, it'll take 3 shots and it'll do one slight overexposed and one underexposed. So I can click the button now, and it's going to take 3 shots, 1 normal exposure, 1 overexposed and 1 underexposed. So that's just here in the auto exposure bracketing. So now we just need to find a good composition. So I'm just going to go a little bit further back. Just going to look around, check I'm not going to hit anything, and then I'm just going to fly over here. So I want to get this headland in. So I'm going to just go back a little bit here, and that's good because I'm lining all the 3 cliffs up, but I want to go higher here because I just want to create a little bit of separation between that one at the bottom there. And this is the real benefit with a drone, that you can change it really easily. So I'm going to go there. Now you'll notice I've gone down a little bit with the gimbal, and the reason I'm doing that is that I'm going to do a vertical pano. So I'm going to take this shot and then I'm going to move up and take another one. So if I just click this, I've got it, just making sure I've focused, and take another one, and then I'm going to shoot, move up. I'm going to take one just a little bit higher as well. So I've got a nice amount of sky and the sea as well. So I've done those 2, but now I'm going to do one a little bit further up as well. And I'm going to go right down and shoot one a little bit further down as well. Now you can take this a little bit further. So I could now move this way a little bit and get more of a diagonal in, so I can get a diagonal of that cliff in and move up again, so I'm getting separation. So now I've got a shot which is a little bit more of this coast, so I'll take that there, then I'll move up, take that there, move up a little bit further, take that there, and that looks fantastic. It's really important to try and create that separation between elements. So, make sure you fly around, use that 3D space to your advantage, and you can get some fantastic shots with your drone. So I'm back from an amazing workshop that I was running in the Faroe Islands, and as you can see, I managed to get some drone footage. Now there was quite a bit of wind whilst we was there as well, so I couldn't get my drone up as much as I wanted, but I got a really fabulous couple of photos from that location that I showed you there. So I've taken those into Lightroom, and here are the photos. And the key thing, as I was showing in the video, is that what we want to do is create a panoramic of those photos. So once you've selected your photos, and I've got these 3 here, then I can select all 3 of them, right click, go photo merge. I'm going to go to panorama, and then basically I want to build the panorama. Now I find perspective works quite well when you just do a vertical pano, so I'm going to use that, auto crop, and I don't do auto settings on it or anything like that. And I just click merge. So now we've got this pano here. So what I want to do now is just do some basic editing. I'm going to do this fairly quickly. So I'm just going to slightly increase the exposure, mainly looking at the foreground here. I'm going to reduce the exposure of the sky with a graduated filter. I'm going to increase the contrast. I'm going to significantly increase the shadows. Then I'm going to add a grad filter here. And we'll reduce that exposure down. Add a little bit of contrast. And then I'm just going to add another one. So I usually add 2 and reduce the exposure a little bit more. I probably just add a little bit of clarity to the whole thing. And now on the HSL, I'm going to add, just going to reduce the hue of the green and the orange, increase the saturation of those and the saturation of the blue. Yeah, so we've gone from that to that basically. So you can see it's fairly easy to edit the photo, and you know, if I zoomed in on this now, you can see, you know, it's a pretty good image. You know, it's fairly spectacular. You know, it really does look good, and it's good enough to print. You know, you can print it, and I can sell these images on my website. In fact, I do. And talking about that, here's one that is on my website for sale at the moment, which does really well, which is this one here. And this was I think a 6-shot, yeah, it was a 6-shot pano. So it was sort of two vertical strips, 3 shots there and 3 shots there. This was in sky. And you can see you can just produce really amazing shots with the DJI Mavic drone. The reason I took this one is we'd hiked up here and I wanted to get just a little bit higher, just so the needle didn't go above the horizon at the top, and I couldn't do that. There was rock face behind me and I didn't have any climbing gear, so it just worked really well with the drone. And then this one, again, I was actually just driving and it had this amazing light, so it just allowed me to stop, get up and take a shot of the sort of English countryside here, as was the same with this one. This was just rotated about 180 degrees. I'd gone past and shooting back a little bit of this amazing house and the long shadows, which often look really good with the drone. So you can do some incredible things, and don't think you've just got to do a vertical pano. I usually do panos, but they don't look like panos. But this one, this horizontal pano that I did in the Faroe Islands does, and this is actually a 90 megabyte image. So it's really amazing quality. You know, I can zoom right in on this and you can see just how detailed and how good quality it is. The low noise ability of the sensor is just fabulous. So there we are. Hopefully that's given you some ideas to go out and shoot some panos with your drone and do some good landscape photography. And if you haven't got a drone, maybe you'll think about getting one. Anyway, it's great to do this. I'm going to be doing more videos now. I've had a little bit of a break because I've been doing so many things of my own, but I've got a little bit more time now. I'm hoping to get one out with DPReview every month or so. And it'll be mostly on things that I don't do on my own channel, like drone photography, gear and things like that. Thanks a lot for watching. And until next time, bye.